Picture this scene. A kid, 5 or 6, bath towel tied around their neck like a cape, absolutely launching themselves off the living room couch. Just for a second, right? They're soaring. They are Superman or Wonder Woman, maybe even Hanuman, leaping clear across an ocean. And, that spark, that feeling of heroism doesn't really fade when we grow up. It just changes shape. It's the reason why we as adults still get completely hooked by heroes. From those, ancient myths told around a fire, all the way to the massive blockbusters we see today. So today we're doing a deep dive into why superheroes are actually much more than just escapist entertainment. They're reflections, really. Powerful reflections of our biggest hopes, our deepest fears, and maybe the best versions of what we could be. Doesn't matter if you're 8 years old or 80, there's probably a hero out there who speaks to you. And believe me, that's definitely not an accident. So in this deep dive, we're going to explore the ancient roots of heroism, where this all started. We'll get into the psychology, why do we love them so much. We'll also look at some amazing global heroes you might not know and figure out why humanity, why we'll just keep creating new ones. Let's jump in. Okay, so think way back, long before spandex, way before CGI made everything look hyper real. Our ancestors, they were gathering around fires, telling stories about beings who could do the impossible. And these weren't just, bedtime stories. They were answers to really big questions about courage, about what's right, about how to keep going when things get tough.
It's really striking how those ancient tales are, they're basically the blueprints for our modern heroes. Mm-hmm. Take Hercules, for example, the Greek demigod, right? Incredible strength, could defeat monsters, do these impossible labors. But the key thing, what makes him such a prototype, are his flaws. His rage, his pride, that constant need to atone for his mistakes. He wasn't just strong, he was human, relatable in his struggles.
Yeah, and you can draw a straight line from him to today's comics. It's uncanny. Like Superman, sure, he's got immense power, but he's always wrestling with moral choices, right? Kind of like Hercules.
Exactly.
Or think about Hanuman, the monkey god from the Ramayana in India. His devotion gave him strength to leap oceans, lift mountains. That story is so powerful, it even got a modern sci-fi twist in the 2024 film Hanuman, protecting a village named Anjanadri. It really shows the endurance of these figures. Mm-hmm. And Thor, the Norse god of thunder, Mjolnir leveling mountains. Marvel's Thor obviously carries that same kind of god-level power. Yeah. Wonder Woman, too, inspired directly by the Amazons of Greek myth. Strong like Hercules, wise like Athena.
Right.
Even Batman, who has no powers at all, he relies on his smarts, his cunning, very much like Odysseus.
And, putting it all together, these ancient heroes have stuck around for thousands of years. Why? Because they tap into something really fundamental, something primal in us.
Yeah.
That deep-seated need to believe that one person, maybe a small group, can actually make a difference against huge odds.
I remember watching Superman 7 with my dad. You know the scene?
Yeah.
Where Superman gets beaten up in that snowy bar.
Oh, yeah.
My little kid, heart just shattered. But my dad, he leaned over and said, "Real heroes get back up." And honestly, 30 years later, those words still echo. They help me get back up when life knocks me down. So it makes you think, right, who's that hero for you? Real or imagined? The one who taught you how to rise again?
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit more because it gets even more direct, doesn't it? Some heroes aren't just like gods. They have real, concrete connections. We're talking heroes literally born from gods or directly powered by them. Norse, Egyptian, even figures from Judeo-Christian traditions.
Yes, exactly. Those connections are often right at the heart of who they are and what they can do. We see a few, let's say, main types.
Yeah.
Some, like you mentioned with Thor from Marvel, they're direct descendants. Born into it. He's Odin's son, period. Mm-hmm. And Wonder Woman, in her more recent comic origins, she's the daughter of Queen Hippolyta and Zeus, a demigoddess. So for them, the power is inherited, it's lineage.
So it's like a birthright, not just a gift. That feels like a key difference. It is. And then you have the ones who are chosen by gods, or maybe blessed by them. They're given powers they didn't have before. The original Wonder Woman origin, for example, sculpted from clay, brought to life, then gifted powers by the Greek gods.
Right, the clay origin.
Or Billy Batson becoming Shazam. He just says the word and bam, Earth's mightiest mortal. But those powers come directly from Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, Achilles, Mercury. It's a divine bestowal.
Okay.
Same idea, different pantheon for Black Adam. He was the wizard Shazam's first pick, but got tripped into taking powers from Egyptian gods like Shu and Horus. Still, the power comes from the gods. It emphasizes wordiness, responsibility.
And then there's another category, right? Not just blessed by gods, but maybe they actually are some kind of divine entity or close to it.
Yeah, precisely.
Right.
And this is where things get really cosmically interesting. Take the Spectre in DC Comics. He's not just powered by the Judeo-Christian god, he is the spirit of vengeance, been around for millennia, handing out judgment. His power level is off the charts. He deals with universe-ending threats, famously saved everything from the Anti-Monitor during Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Wow, okay.
Marvel has its own version, Ghost Rider, also a spirit of vengeance, iconic look, flaming skull, the bike. He hunts down the truly wicked. He needs a human host to operate on Earth, but he's fundamentally a supernatural force. We also see figures like Raven from DC, daughter of a demon god, Trigon, a comic created one, but the concept is there. Her origin as half human, half demon links back to old European myths about Cambons, these powerful, often conflicted beings.
Right, I remember her from Teen Titans.
Then there's someone like Promethea. Really unique. Becomes immortal in the Immateria, basically the realm of imagination after meeting the god Thoth Hermes. She channels power through imagination, a concept from Alan Moore, J.H. Williams III, and Mick Gray. She's been embodied by many people over centuries.
Imagination is a power source. That's fascinating.
And Zariel, also DC, a guardian angel, served the presence since the dawn of time, fell from grace over love, ended up joining the Justice League. So yeah, these characters are more like direct agents or manifestations of divine or cosmic forces.
It's clear the connections run deep, and they're pretty varied. But okay, beyond the awesome powers and the epic fights, what does it all mean for us? It can't just be cool mythology. There's got to be some psychology going on here, right?
Yeah.
Our brains seem wired for this stuff.
Oh, absolutely. The psychological benefits are huge, and science is actually starting to measure this. First off, superheroes help us cope with hardship. Think about Batman. His origin turning that immense trauma of his parents' murder into a lifelong mission for justice. That's basically a perfect example of what psychologists call post-traumatic growth. Seeing Bruce Wayne channel his pain gives us a model for finding purpose in our own struggle.
Turning pain into purpose, yeah.
And they definitely model pro-social behavior, helping others. Spider-Man's famous line, right? With great power comes great responsibility. It's a core lesson in altruism. And actual studies, have shown that just seeing superhero symbols can make people more likely to say they'd help someone, like volunteer or share. Plus, heroes offer moral clarity. The world is messy, full of gray areas. But characters like Captain America with his, unshakable ethics, or Wonder Woman fighting for truth and justice, they act like a moral compass.
Something to aim for.
Exactly. There was even the study at Kyoto University. Fascinating. It found that babies, like 6-month-olds, preferred characters who protected weaker ones. It suggests our love for justice might actually be innate.
Wow, even in babies.
And finally, there's escapism. When times are chaotic, think the 2008 recession or pandemic, seeing Iron Man totally in control of his world. That offers relief. Psychologists call it compensation theory. We seek out stories that give us a feeling of order when our own lives feel out of control.
That makes sense. But some people might argue, don't these stories sometimes oversimplify things? Make it seem like one person in a cape can solve massive global problems. How do those psychological benefits stack up against that criticism?
That's a really important quote. And yeah, sometimes the plots can simplify complex issues, no doubt. But I think their real strength isn't in giving us literal policy solutions. It's about reinforcing universal values, inspiring something inside us. The benefits fostering resilience, encouraging kindness, giving hope often outweigh that risk of simplification. They provide a moral goal, an aspiration, not a detailed plan. It's like that psychologist said, therapy with capes.
Therapy with capes, I like that.
And if we step back and connect this to the bigger picture, representation is just huge in superhero stories. Think about 2018. Black Panther comes out. All over the world, Chicago, Lagos, London, you had kids playing, shouting, Wakanda forever. Black Panther wasn't just a superhero. He became this global symbol of pride, a celebration of African heritage. Psychologists call it the mirror effect. When you see someone like you reflected positively in media, it affirms your worth, your potential. It's incredibly powerful.
Yeah, and that impact isn't just Black Panther, right? Cultures everywhere are creating their own heroes now, reflecting their own values, but proving heroism is universal. Guardian Prime in Nigeria. He's a fashion designer with godlike powers. Talk about blending tradition and modern life.
Right.
Or the Burqa Avenger in Pakistan. Jia, a teacher using books and pens as weapons to fight for education. That's a powerful symbol for equality.
Absolutely.
In South Africa, there's Kwezi, a teenager with super strength, flight. His name means star in Zulu, represents youth, hope. Argentina gave us Cyber 6 this cool blend of sci-fi and Latin American storytelling, a genetic experiment turned vigilante. And you even have Super Grand from Scotland, a grandmother with cosmic powers protecting her town with like humor and grit. It's amazing.
It really is. And these heroes, they're not just fighting generic bad guys. They're fighting for identity, for education access, for cultural pride. They adapt heroism to fit specific cultural struggles and values. It keeps the whole idea fresh and relevant in so many different ways.
Which shows how superheroes evolve, right? They change with the times. Like back in the 60s, the X-Men were a clear metaphor for the civil rights movement. Today you have Mrs. Marvel, Kamala Khan, dealing with Islamophobia while also just trying to be a teenager. And the villains change too, don't they? From, I don't know, Cold War spies to maybe AI taking over the world. Heroes help us process whatever chaos or anxiety is current.
Exactly. And this raises an important question. Why do we keep creating new heroes? We have so many icons already. Well, the genre has to stay fresh to stay relevant. It's a challenge for writers, definitely, to create genuinely original characters, not just, tweak Superman again. New heroes like Naomi at DC or Miles Morales at Marvel, they bring different backgrounds, fresh perspectives, modern problems into the mix. That's vital.
Still, it feels like it's tough for new characters to break through sometimes, doesn't it? People argue they struggle against the sheer weight of history behind characters like Batman or Spider-Man. But maybe that's changing. If you look at indie comics or global stories like that Hanuman movie we mentioned, it seems like there's still plenty of room for new ideas.
I think so. There's definitely room. And these newer heroes, they're often tackling things the classic ones didn't originally, like climate change directly or mental health or specific cultural identity issues. They ensure the genre keeps evolving with us.
Yeah, like that writer said, superheroes are modern mythology. It's not static. It's a living story that just gets richer with each generation. So, wrapping up this deep dive, what have we found? Superheroes last, they endure, because they do so much more than entertain. They link us back to ancient stories, they meet deep psychological needs, they reflect cultures all over the world, and crucially, they change as our world changes. They're like friends who teach us courage, mentors showing integrity, reminders that even when things feel dark, there's a hero inside us somewhere. So here's a thought to leave you with. Who was your first superhero? The one that made you really believe, even for a second, that ordinary people could do extraordinary things. Hold on to that feeling. Maybe even right now. Stand up, stretch your arms out wide. Remember that someone, somewhere, once believed a person could fly. Why not you? Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive. Until next time, keep believing in the hero within.